we are back again with another topic of biology, which is body fluids and circulation, and you will also study this topic as transportation in human beings in grade 10th, and this you will study in grade 11th as a chapter. Alright, so I have summed up both the grade 10th and 11th together in this topic. So now my question is, why do we need a transportation system? What is circulatory system? So this is what we need to study in today's topic. Now, transportation system. You know that human body is, or any other living being will have to be transported with so many important things. Now, living cells has to be provided with nutrients, oxygen and essential substances, which we have to study in this particular session. Now, apart from transportation of these essential things, we also need to eliminate harmful substances or waste substances, which has to be eliminated. And how are these waste produced? During metabolic activity. During metabolic activity, there are a lot of essential things as well as harmful wastes are produced. To do all this task, we need a circulatory system. Okay, so let's understand this topic in details now. So, for transporting so many things inside the body, we need two kinds of fluid. One is your blood and the second one is your lymph. Lymph is also known as your tissue fluid. Alright, so let's understand the components of blood first, and then we will proceed with the other things which are present in the circulatory system. Now let's understand the blood first. Now when we talk about blood, this is the most essential part, or you can say it is a fluid connective tissue, which you have studied in the chapter, in the tissue chapter in grade 9. Alright. So it is a fluid connective tissue. What do you mean by fluid connective tissue? Any kind of fluid which is connecting the entire body. So it consists of liquid part of the blood, which is known as plasma. The liquid part of the blood is known as plasma, and the cellular part of the blood is known as blood cells or formed elements. So when we talk about the blood components, let me draw the structure here. This will be plasma, the liquid part of the blood, and the elements which are left behind apart from the plasma, they are known as the blood cells or formed elements, or you can say blood corpuscles as well. Alright, so let's understand what is the plasma. Plasma is also known as the liquid part of the blood. Alright, so now you can see that in the plasma, let's understand what are the things which are present and what is the characteristics of plasma. How do you know this is a plasma? So plasma is a straw colored substance. Alright, it's a viscous liquid. What do you mean by viscous? Highly dense. It is highly dense, and it has 55% of the blood is basically your plasma. So if it is 100% of blood, you will have 55% of plasma present inside the blood. 90 to 92% of plasma is water. So what is the largest component of things present in the plasma is water, which is 90 to 92%. And what about the remaining part? 6 to 8% will have the proteins. Okay, so only 6 to 8% is protein, and rest 90 to 92% is your water. So plasma has a major component of water. Now let's understand what are the different types of proteins which are present in the plasma. The first protein which we can see here is, let me take some different color here. The first one is your fibrinogen. Now fibrinogen is also a protein present in the plasma. This is a very cumulative question which is asked in the competitive. Fibrinogen, it is a blood, you can say blood protein or plasma protein, needed for clotting of blood or coagulation of blood. What do you mean by clotting? You get hurt and all of a sudden the blood oozes out of your injured tissues. Now who will stop it? Basically fibrinogen. We will study about that in this lecture itself. Number 2 is your globulin. What is the function of globulin? Basically, it is a defense mechanism of the body. Means, what do you mean? What do you mean by defense? It is going to protect your body, or it will act as a shield to your body against certain pathogens. Now you have the albumin, which is the third protein present in the blood. Now what is the function of this albumin? It helps in osmotic balance. Now certain amount of balance is required inside your body to maintain blood pressure, all this blood pressure, and quite an amount of balance is required that is being done by the albumin. So what are the three plasma proteins? Fibrinogen, globulin and albumin. All these together forms the plasma protein. Now another important thing is these are also known as, fibrinogen is also known as the clotting factor. Clotting factor means certain factors which are required for clotting of blood. Now this is very important. Plasma without clotting factor is known as serum. So normally it is what is serum? So serum क्या है basically? Plasma. When it is plasma, say if we remove the clotting factors, it is known as serum. Okay. Now plasma, what is the basic function of plasma? Plasma will be having some small amount of minerals like sodium, calcium, magnesium, hydrogen carbonate and chlorine, which are required by the body. So plasma plays a very important role and contains certain antibodies as well. Alright, let's move ahead to the next topic, which is erythrocytes. Now what are erythrocytes? Now I have told you there are three types of blood cells present inside the blood. Blood will have three types of blood cell: RBC, WBC and platelets. Okay, so all these are the blood cells. Now when we talk about erythrocytes, it is also known as what? RBC. In an adult human being, there are 5.5 million of RBC per millimeter of water, of blood. Okay, so it is about 5.5 millions of RBC present per millimeter cube of the blood. Okay, now where are they formed? Okay, it is formed in the red bone marrow in an adult. So red bone marrow cells mein you will find the formation of RBC. Important characteristics is it is devoid of nucleus. No nucleus is there in RBC. It is biconcave in shape. Can you see the biconcave nature? Now why is this shape present? To increase the surface area for more absorption. The shape of RBC is biconcave because it increases the surface area for more absorption of oxygen. So basically it will help in carrying the oxygen. Alright. Now healthy individual will have, there is another pigment present in RBC which is known as what? Hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the pigment which gives it a red color. Red color of the erythrocyte is basically because of hemoglobin. And in a healthy individual, hemoglobin plays a major role. You need to have a minimum on an average 12 to 16 grams of hemoglobin in 100 ml of blood. So in 100 ml of blood, an individual and an adult individual should have a 12 to 16 grams of hemoglobin for efficient supply of oxygen. Because hemoglobin is going to combine with oxygen to form oxyhemoglobin. Okay, so in this form, basically the oxygen will be transported inside your body. Alright, so transport of respiratory gases is possible. Respiratory gases are O2 and CO2. CO2 has to be eliminated outside your body and O2 has to be taken in. Now, very important question in the competitive as well. Lifespan of RBC is how much? 120 days. And it is destroyed in the spleen. So, spleen is known as the graveyard of RBC. Graveyard of RBC means the RBC will die in the spleen. Okay. And its lifespan is 120 days. Importantly, shape, number of days it is active or number of days it will be alive is 120 days. Very important. Pigment hemoglobin is also very important. Let's proceed to the next slide now. So next comes the second blood cells, which is leukocytes. We call it as white blood cell. They are colorless, nucleated means they have nucleus. The number of leukocytes are about 6,000 to 8,000 millimeters cube of blood. So the amount is lesser than RBC was 5 million, while WBC, if we talk about, it is 6,000 to 8,000. They are very short-lived. They will not going to live a very longer time, few days or could be few months. Okay. They are irregular in shape like this. They can be irregular in shape. Okay. Now let's talk about leukocyte, types of leukocytes. So types could be either they can be agranulocyte or they can be granulocyte. These are the two types. Okay? These are the types of RBC. So granulocytes will consist of lymphocytes and monocytes. Agranulocytes will have lymphocytes and monocytes. Granulocytes will consist of eosinophil, basophil and neutrophils. The percentage is very, very important to undergo so many important functions they are involved in. Now the problem is you cannot have again more number of these leukocytes. Now leukocytes are WBC, they fight against the diseases, normally fight against the diseases. This is very, very important. Now you must say, if it is fighting against diseases, if we have more number of WBC, it's good. But I would say no. Increase TNC, this is nothing but your total leukocyte count. Total leukocyte count, that is TNC. So if there is more number of TNC, total leukocyte count, you may suffer from acute bacterial infection. If somebody is suffering from bacterial infection, if we go for the blood test, they will have a lot of increased TNC. Low TNC, that is total leukocyte count is getting low. In that case, the person may suffer from viral, malarial, typhoid or tuberculosis kind of diseases. Okay. Now, abnormal increase in WBC is known as blood cancer, or you can say leukemia. Okay. This is also known as leukemia. Fall of WBC count is known as leukopenia. So if there is abnormal increase, it may lead to blood cancer, and if it is low in number, if it's falling down, we give the term as leukopenia. So basic function of leukocyte is to fight against the diseases. Let's proceed to the next point. Thrombocytes. Thrombocytes are also known as platelets. They help in clotting of blood. Very importantly, you get hurt, some tissues gets damaged, blood oozes out. So they are going to help in clotting the blood. Formation of clot, coagulation of blood. How much number of platelets are there? Around 250,000 platelets in cubic millimeter of blood. Very, very important. They are colorless. They don't have any pigment. Lifespan is about a week. This is also very, very important. Now we should understand how is the clotting of blood happening. So let's understand with this step. When there is an injury or there is a removal of blood or blood vessels are damaged, what is going to happen? When there is a damage or there is a cut, thromboplastin is released from the injured tissue. From the injured tissue, you will find thromboplastin to be oozing out, coming out. Then in the presence of calcium, if there is a presence of calcium there, prothrombin, it is a blood protein, it is a protein present in your blood. Prothrombin, in the presence of thromboplastin and calcium, will get converted to thrombin. It is an active enzyme. Am I very clear? So thrombin is going to form. This thrombin will actually help in conversion of fibrinogen into fibrin. So fibrinogen is another protein present in the blood. Fibrinogen is going to convert this into fibrin. Okay. Now this fibrin will help in the formation of net-like structure which collects the blood cell. Can you see the damage? Can you see the diagram here? This is the fibrin. Fibrin is going to form a net-like structure like this. This net-like structure will capture all the blood cells and help in formation of the blood. Okay. This will help in formation of the blood. Alright. So now let's move on to the next. So we will be ending this session here. Thank you.